This is the CFoD show. Here are your hosts, Tommy Vereen and Danny McCormick.
Hello, and welcome to week one episode of the series finale of the CFoD show.
That's right, of the final season of the CFoD show. It's kind of a surreal moment, Danny. It's our final season premiere of the CFoD show.
You can really only do as much as you can do, and we've done all that we can do, and we've done it.
We had a good run of doing all that we could do.
We did it.
We were all that we could be.
Yep.
And now,
wait. Football is back.
That's right, football is back.
Today,
it doesn't have to be sad. We still got a whole season left of the final season.
That's right. And we have some fucking special things in store. I mean, if these were like yearly things, it would be great. But we could only do it once. So this is going to be special. This is going to be special. We've got at least 3 different new things for you this year. That's way more than we had new things last year. And
I think we had like 1 new things last year.
That's right.
So
1 new things. Mm-hmm. And anyways, it is September 5th, 2018. 1 day. In fact, literally 23 hours and 40 minutes until kickoff at the time of this recording.
This time tomorrow, we will be watching football.
That's right. Hopefully you'll have seen this episode first. Let's see if I can edit it in time. I doubt it.
I highly doubt that.
So if you're watching it before the game, wow, I did a good job. If you're not, then Danny sucks.
Hashtag Danny sucks.
Yep.
Throw it up, people.
That's right. It's going to trend. You know it. The people come in force.
Yes.
So anyways, there are, like I said, we're going to do some of the things that we've always done. We're going to have our opening screen where we're going to celebrate our MVPs. We don't have any MVPs yet.
No, so we're just celebrating me.
Yeah, we're celebrating the show being back for its final farewell season.
Final farewell season. Hashtag farewell season.
There's going to be hashtags everywhere. And we're gonna have our same segments. We're going to have standings. We're going to have last week's score. We're going to have our predictions. Did we win? Did we lose? We don't know.
And you know somebody's going to fuck up at some point.
We're going to have the fuck up of the week, obviously. We're going to have the favorite segment of everybody, the weekly breakdowns.
Weekly breakdowns, breaking things down weekly.
And then we'll do our closing, which is obviously the thing everybody loves.
Of course, but we won't get into that now.
No, we can't get into that now. But there are some new things for you this year. In fact, we're going to be playing a game throughout the entire season.
Ooh, game.
Yep, not even Tommy knows about this. There is going to be a prize at the end of the season based on participation. Now, participation is kind of twofold. One, literally just entering gets you an entry, obviously. 2,
I'm confused.
speed.
Okay.
So, if you watch the show, you get the way to enter told to you. You enter, it will be time-stamped. Knowing who did it in what order is what determines point value. So if you were the first person to put in an entry for the week, you're going to get 12 points.
Oh, shit. That's a lot of points.
Maybe 10.
I don't know the scale.
We're not eligible.
Oh.
Do we want to be eligible?
I don't know.
Well, always.
I thought I was eligible. I'm just now learning about this.
No, you're taken, buddy.
I am. You're married. Get your hand off me.
Oh. Anyways, if you enter quickly, then you will get 10 points. We're going to go 10 points. And then, obviously, the next person to enter gets 9, blah, blah. Then, at the end of the season, it's not necessarily who has the most points, but that is basically a lottery ticket. Or a raffle ticket. That's the correct word. Whoever wins the raffle is going to win the grand prize. And let me tell you, we've joked before about prizes. We've joked before about, voting results. But this is a serious prize. I am seriously going to be giving away something seriously cool. I almost need the glasses to even announce this. I didn't know we were getting into the seriousness. I would have brought the glasses. But there's going to be a grand prize, and I hope you win it.
Well, if it's a good prize, then I want to be eligible.
All right, Tommy, you're eligible.
All right, What's the answer for this week? Text this in.
I have not put up the special word on the screen yet.
What's the special word? I should have an inside track on this. I'm in the show.
Post-editing is when it's going in, but
well, that's bullshit.
You're going to have to watch the show. I'm ineligible.
You have to watch the show. So I have to do the show and watch the show now?
You do that anyways.
Yeah, but I don't like it when I'm forced to.
All right. Anyways, another thing that we're going to have this year is our new player profile. It kind of gives a rundown of obviously our players in the league, and it's going to profile what it is that they do in the league and what they've accomplished in the past.
That sounds like it'd be a really cool addition if we were doing this multiple years.
I told you already.
Why are we doing this the last year?
Because this is the year we're ready for it.
Why are we cool now? Why are we going to do all the cool shit in our final year?
Because that's what all the cool shows do. Like Seinfeld and what other shows were cool?
Everybody Loves
Rugrats. I forgot about the Everybody Loves Raymond season finale. That was great.
All right. Well, sweet. So,
yep.
Good season. Final season. # farewell season.
Yep. So, anyways, let's start off the show right. Let me bring up my notes because that's how we start up the show right.
Get those notes up.
I'm going to get these notes up.
That's right, people. This is what normally happens behind the scenes. But.
So we did welcome back. We do talk about the upcoming season?
A little bit. I mean, basically, what we're going to do is we're going to go along with the NFL season. So they're going to play football. We all have players that correspond with actual NFL players. Those players are going to accumulate points. We will play against each other, and then I will be the champion at the end of the season. Is how this is going to work.
Okay. I remembered the third new things that we have. Bold predictions.
Bold predictions.
They are going to be sizzlingly hot takes. They're that bold.
Nice.
Yep.
So I better come up with some good shit.
Yeah. Well, the ones that you wrote down in your notes were pretty lame, so you should come up with better when we get to that segment.
I've got one ready to go. Got a pipe to drop for you.
All right. So after that, we were going to do a draft recap.
So we were all just at the draft. We remember what happened.
Yeah, the draft was just 3 days ago.
Well, most of us were there. Justin wasn't there.
Justin wasn't there. Speaking of which, no, I'll just foreshadow that.
Oh.
Anyways, so yeah, we were all there. It was a lot of fun. We couldn't get into the room right away, but that's okay.
Thanks, Alan, for hooking us up with a free room and the awesome space.
We got all the keepers up on the board, even though they were completely out of order.
It was a clusterfuck for sure.
Yep.
Went surprisingly well.
I thought so as well. I hope. Did you guys enjoy putting your own stickers on, or do we want to do the sticker bitch for the clusterfucker next year? Didn't we? We're voting on that, right?
We were voting on it. I think it was pretty even. I don't care because I'm not going to be the clusterfucker. So whatever you guys decide on is good with me. But yeah, I thought it worked out pretty well. James only picked like 14 players who were already selected. So other than that, everybody did pretty well.
Yeah. So I would like to give a round of applause to the league for drafting this year because we did a draft the day before and it seemed so much easier.
Yeah.
It just did.
It's because Jeff's league sucks.
Hashtag Jeff League sucks.
Just like Jeff.
Hashtag just like Jeff.
Got him.
Oh, sorry the buttons aren't working. That's another thing. The buttons are going to be enhanced this year.
This is our farewell season. You don't have the buttons ready to go.
The buttons are never ready in week one. The buttons are basically Marlon Mack.
You would think in the
Julian Edelman.
Mark
Ingram. Aaron Jones.
Carson
Benjamin. Wentz. No, Kelvin Benjamin just is never ready to do anything other than eat.
So he counts.
Okay. So
why did I bet on Kelvin Benjamin? Never mind. That's
we will also bring up bets between Tommy and Jeff throughout the course of the season.
But there will be no bets. There will be no CFoD bets with Jeff this season because I'm focused on the prize.
Well, you've already made 2 bets.
Those were not CFoD bets. Those were the
draft day bets?
Those were draft day bets in another league. So,
okay. All right. Fair enough.
Yeah. So we won't need to talk about those here. Focused on the prize. Hashtag championship.
Hashtag CFoD belt.
Give me that belt. I need it.
Gillespie Bowl 3? Is that what we're coming up on?
I don't know. I'm not good with numbers.
GB3.
But.
So we talked about that. Now we're going to do roster rundown. So this set is not suitable for roster rundown because there will be rosters. There is no room for rosters here. This is only for MVPs. Okay?
We don't have MVPs either.
I know, but that's what this set is for.
Okay.
So we're going to move sets.
All right.
Ready?
Let's move.
Here we are.
That was cool.
Yeah. It looks very similar to last year, but there are some subtle differences. 1, there's a football on the desk.
All right. That's somewhat different.
2, I have a groomsman puck. I was a best man or not a best man, but I was just a groomsman at a thing.
I was a best man at a thing.
And I got a puck with a bottle opener.
Where the fuck's my puck bottle opener, Justin?
Hey, I already foreshadowed that. Shut up. God damn it.
Wait.
So anyways, we're going to do roster rundown. So
let's run down some rosters.
I'm going to put up everybody's roster. It's going to look really ugly right here.
Well, this is basically like their draft, right? Like draft results, essentially.
Yeah. So I'm putting it up in like it doesn't look good, but So maybe we should just go one by one.
All right, let's do that. Let's go one by one.
All right, so let's start with, who do we have number one here? Josh. Okay,
our champion.
So we got some stuff we liked about Josh's draft and some stuff we didn't like about Josh's draft.
I think it was like that for pretty much everybody, for every draft. It was a difficult draft. I thought everyone did well for the most part.
Exactly.
Got really thin there in the last few rounds, so it was interesting.
So we wanted to talk about a couple of his players, which, anyways, one of the players I wanted to say that I think he did a really good job picking was Russell Wilson.
Really?
Picked him 49th overall, so it was the first pick of the 5th round. But he didn't have a pick for another 24 picks. So if he wanted him then, he had to get him then.
That's true. I mean, if Russell Wilson's the guy you're targeting, sure. I did feel like you wait a long time on quarterback. I guess that would be my only criticism.
Well, the thing about that is it's a 2-quarterback league almost.
Essentially.
So
well, kind of. But there were still quarterbacks left at the end of the draft.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, that was an interesting pick there. I know Shady was another guy you were talking about.
Yeah, well, I'm just not a big Shady fan.
He's a little tough to draft this year, for sure.
I mean, Buffalo is going to suck.
Right.
I mean, I would hate to have Kelvin Benjamin on a team.
Or to have placed a bet on Kelvin Benjamin.
I have Kelvin Benjamin on a team.
It's foolish. I placed a bet on Kelvin Benjamin. We're dumbasses.
Hashtag dumbasses.
But he's gonna get all the volume out there, that's for sure.
Yeah,
they don't really have anywhere else to go with
it.
He's on the wrong side of 30.
I'm really worried though about Nathan Peterman getting an interception while handing it off to Shady.
It could happen for sure. Nathan Peterman has otherworldly ability when it comes to turning the ball over.
That's right.
But in between those turnovers, and he's not going to be starting forever. I'm pretty sure they're just feeding Nathan Peterman out there against tough defenses like Baltimore.
Yep.
Say preserve their rookie. But yeah, so I mean the volume's going to be there for Shady. I think it's a decent pick in the mid to late 3rd round, especially with all the keepers off the board. The value is kind of hard to pass up there.
Yeah,
but I don't think anyone felt good about drafting Shady this offseason.
Yeah, and then the other player we wanted to kind of bring up was Bilal Powell. He is a good player, but I think he could have dropped another 3 or 4 or 5 rounds.
Probably. It felt like the running backs were kind of lingering there in the middle rounds. I couldn't tell you exactly what was going on there. I mean, I know like Theo Riddick also went in that range, so I guess that's about right of where he should have gone.
Yeah.
But it did feel kind of lackluster.
So, I mean, you just look around later, and he took James White. And I like James White so much more than Bilal Powell.
I agree there, too.
So at least he got James White.
Yeah, that's true. So he's got some options there. But
and you wanted to talk about Kittle.
I did like the George Kittle pick. That's true. I thought that was good value there. The injury kind of helped him slide down in the draft. Kittle was a guy who was going much earlier as a tight end prior to the injury. So,
and then he's also got Marquise Goodwin as a late keeper.
Where'd he get that one?
He's got good Niners late.
He does. So he could have some options there for next year. 3 keepers. So
hashtag 3 keepers.
Hashtag 3 keepers next year. I see 3 there. That could be good for Josh. Moving on
because the pace we're going so far, this is going to be a 3-hour episode.
That's good. The people have waited a long time for this episode.
True.
And it is our farewell season.
This is the last time we will ever do a roster breakdown.
Soak it up, people. Cherish it. You're going to miss us when we're gone. So Ashley had some picks there too.
Yep.
I've noticed the 11th round. She got 2 players that I kind of like. I really like the Patrick Mahomes pick.
Me too, as somebody who owns Patrick Mahomes in a different league.
I was looking at possibly taking him there around that spot too. I remember I was upset when she drafted him. So good pick, Ashley. That could be a good one for the future. And then also James Washington. I thought that was...
One pick later, yeah.
Yeah, I thought it was a little early for James Washington, but I don't hate the pick. A lot of upside there. Yep. Wide receivers were going.
I mean, it kind of almost depends on what does Juju Smith-Schuster do this year. And I don't know who got Juju. Well, it was Jeff, right? Jeff got Juju.
Yeah.
And, yeah, so I think one of them is going to be the wide receiver, too. It's probably going to be Juju. But, yeah, James Washington has a chance to...
I see Juju as more the slot guy and James Washington on the outside playing more the Martavis Bryant role. So,
okay,
see how that goes. I think they'll kind of eat into each other's targets. But there will definitely be some big plays from James Washington this year. And I could see him possibly being a good keeper next year. I think Juju's going to disappoint a little bit from his draft position.
So, speaking of disappointing... She also drafted her 3rd draft pick was Sammy Watkins.
A little early for Sammy, I guess. I don't love that pick there.
End of the 4th round.
I mean, the upside's there for Sammy for sure.
Yeah,
we've heard for years all the talent is there. Is it going to work out in Kansas City?
Plus, she has Mahomes.
she has Mahomes, so there's that nice little combo there. But I mean, then there's also you got Tyreek Hill there, you've got Travis Kelce there, and you got Kareem Hunt there.
Holmes and Hill, I think that is a match made in heaven.
Yeah, I like that one too. That's a fun one to have. So we'll see how Sammy works out. Could be a great pick for her, but it did feel a little early to me.
Yeah, and then we got like the middle of her draft, which I'm lukewarm on Tyler Lockett, lukewarm on Theo Riddick, lukewarm on Dante Moncrief.
I really like the Tyler Lockett pick. I'll give her that.
Yeah, he did just get paid.
And where else are the targets going to go in Seattle? There's Doug
Russell Wilson.
We can't say Doug. We can't say the Doug word. But
well, it is the final season.
He's got Baldwin. Doug Baldwin. Yeah, that's right. Fuck the man. I said what I want. So Doug Baldwin is there, and I mean Jimmy Graham's gone. Paul Richardson is gone. There's a lot of missing targets there.
Yeah,
so I could
but
see
there's
Lockett
Jerron Brown. Okay. Anyways, do we want to move on to Justin?
Let's move on to Justin. Sure.
Okay.
Just the top of that draft. I mean, first off, you just look at the top there and you see Antonio Brown and Julio Jones. There's literally no way to fuck that combination up. That's basically a guaranteed playoff berth for Justin. Be extremely disappointed if he found a way to botch that and not make the playoffs. And that's just the top of it. Because then you've got Rob Gronkowski, Alex Collins, Royce Freeman. I love all those picks. And that was before Freeman was even announced as the starter, which he now is. And you pair those up with a guy named Melvin Gordon in the 7th round. And yeah, I'm loving.
Melvin Gordon was the 5th round.
Or a 7th pick. I meant 7th off the board in the 5th round. So great draft for Justin at the top of his roster. He's going to be very tough to compete with.
I'm sorry, Justin, but if your draft goes anything like mine last year,
I will say his wide receiver depth is very, very low. So, I mean, you plan on starting AB and Julio every week in and week out,
and DeAndre Hopkins.
But if either of them face an injury, I could see that being pretty bad for Justin's team.
Who does he have next? Will Fuller. Will Fuller was good when Watson was healthy.
Extremely efficient though, so we'll see kind of how that drops. Will Fuller scored a touchdown every time he touched the ball last year.
Crowder is a question mark.
I like Crowder's floor. I think that's solid there. But then what's that? Those are four receivers. We start 4 receivers in this league. So I don't love Jack Doyle. If Des Bryant doesn't have a team,
you should hear what Jack Doyle has to say about you.
Well, that's fine. Fuck Jack Doyle. Let's take it there.
I don't know what he says to that.
So I'll say Justin enters the season, I dare say, as the favorite. He is currently projected to score the most points in the league, but
I was there last year.
But that's what I'm going to say is if anything happens to those top receivers, there are injuries. It is a long season, so if there's any question marks there, I don't like the depth behind him. It could be tough for Justin. He's going to have to keep up with that.
Yeah. All right, so now we're moving on to the guy who got us the free room, Alan.
Thanks, Alan, with his butthurt observation. And,
all right, so it looks like we wrote down a couple of notes here.
Alshon Jeffrey there in
they were
4th.
Both questionable.
Yeah, I thought Alshon went a little bit early considering. That being said, it's not bad to get a receiver of his caliber in the 4th round of this league when he's healthy, if he's playing.
When do you think he's coming back? Game 4?
We'll see.
3?
I mean, they said he'd be out for 2 weeks, the first 2 games for sure. That's a little tough when they're projecting that 3 weeks in advance. So we'll see. Well, hopefully it's something that he comes back healthy from right away. But it could be one of those lingering injuries into the season. So that was just a little early for me to spend that draft capital on him.
Yep. The guy I want to talk about on his team would be Jordan Reed.
Jordan Reed.
Yeah. Jordan Reed, obviously there's so much potential there, but so little productivity in the last few years.
You got to be on the field to be productive, and that's not something Jordan Reed's been good at lately.
Yeah. It's just weird looking at his team, and I see so much of that. Like Alshon Jeffrey, got to be on the field to produce.
Yeah.
Jordan Reed, got to be on the field to produce. Randall Cobb, have to have a team to produce.
Well, he still does have a team now. Right now, he's still technically the 2 there, but I think everybody expects Cobb to either be traded or released soon. So felt a little early for that. Mohamed Sanu. They're just kind of some, not bad picks in the middle rounds, but definitely not exciting.
Bigger
picks.
Question marks than some of the other potentials.
Yeah, you've got Devontae Parker in there too. but he does have the top of his roster is very good. I'll say that.
I love Cooper this year.
Me too. I was big on Amari Cooper. I was kind of hoping that he would make it to that turn, but I mean it was a tall order. But and then you pair him up with Jarvis Landry, a PPR target hog.
At least in Miami, it's hard to. You can't tell what Cleveland's going to do yet.
Yeah, but I still think Jarvis is going to be a full.
He'll get his food. He'll get his juice
for sure. So Allen, I like his starting lineup. I don't see a lot of pop in that on the bench. Like I don't really see anybody there who could potentially break out. Yeah. I mean, I guess you could say that about Devontae Parker, but we've been waiting on that one for years, and it hasn't happened. I do like Antonio Callaway, but that's a little crowded of a wide receiver core, as we were just talking about there too.
So I almost said okay, on to Ashley, but the clusterfucker isn't Ashley anymore.
No, Barron is the clusterfucker.
The clusterfucker made the playoffs last year.
Barron clusterfucked his ass off. He took that mantle and ran with it.
He took my dad's mediocre team and ran it into the ground.
Made it even more mediocre. But he did set it up a lot better this year.
Yeah.
Loving that Zach Ertz pick that he got from me. That's one that I wouldn't mind having now. But good pick for him. That's a good foundation to start the team off.
One thing that we noticed about Barron's draft, he went up here or down here.
He went half Gruden and with just the oldest players he could find across the league, including Jordy Nelson. So straight up Gruden there.
Yeah.
And he also got a lot of young guys throwing some darts at next year. Guys like DJ Chark, Cortland Sutton,
Ronald Jones, Josh Rojan.
Josh Rojan.
It's because you wrote Rojo down here, so.
And then John Ross too. Went a little bit
basically
earlier
his
than
rookie year.
But yeah, I mean he had one catch for negative yards or negative points last year.
That's pretty awesome.
But I do like the upside of John Ross a lot there. It did feel slightly early, but you can't argue with it. The young receivers were kind of popping at that point in the draft, so he went and got his guy.
And then obviously we talked about he's got his old guys too. He's got his Adrian Peterson. He's got his Jordy Nelson, Pierre Garçon. We argued over Emmanuel Sanders, but we decided he's young enough.
Barron's ready. If someone comes in with a time machine and somehow takes this league back to 2008, Barron's ready to go. He's got Adrian Peterson, Jordy Nelson.
Yeah.
Pierre Garçon. He's ready to compete.
We are now ready to move on to the guy projected to do worse than you in the league.
Wow. There's someone worse than me. That's cool.
Randall.
Thanks, Randall. I appreciate it.
I love DeAndre Hopkins. I love Kareem Hunt. And then he didn't pick again until 67th overall.
I thought I entered the draft short-handed, so to speak, with some obstacles to overcome. I had no idea how bad Randall's outlook was with only 4 picks.
You didn't have a first and second round pick, but he only had 4 picks in the first 100.
That's exactly what I was about to say. Yep.
Whew.
That's tough. Those 4 picks he got. So, and one of them was a keeper. So
one of them was a keeper.
So he really only.
And
made
one of them was a
picks.
quarterback.
Yeah, that's right. So it was DeAndre Hopkins, Kareem Hunt, Carlos Hyde, and Drew Brees. There's nothing wrong with any of those players, but I definitely want a little bit more at the top of my lineup. Yep. I think Randall kind of saw that he was working uphill this year, and you could see that with the second half of his draft.
Yeah,
there's tons of keeper shots out there.
Literally, his first pick after pick 100 was Calvin Ridley,
a rookie,
with potential. Usually, if you're taking your 5th player that late in the draft, you should pick somebody who has got an established role. You know what they're going to do. But he went with the rookie.
A lot of talent there for Calvin Ridley, sure. Yeah. I don't know if he's going to be worth a 3rd round keeper next year, I'm sorry, that wouldn't be a 3rd round. That'd be.
But then I also have some counter argument to him trying to draft for next year, in drafting Jacksonville defense with his 9th pick.
I think Randall was just. I think Randall's just acquiring assets out there of what he can do. If you remember, towards the trade deadline last year, Jacksonville's defense actually was up there. So that's one of them. I don't know if Randall's planning on trying to trade those assets this year and to try to contend, or if he's just straight punting into next year. But it'll be interesting to see. Does have a lot of potential keeper options there. Christian Kirk.
There's a very interesting guy there, right there at the 13th pick, James Conner.
Indeed.
That might be a week 1 start.
Mm-hmm. Could be. We'll see what that situation looks like next year. That could be a keeper next year.
Yeah.
Quincy Enunwa has opportunities. Sam Darnold's starting. Kiki Kute in the last round. So there's a lot of shots for next year. That's kind of what it looks like Randall's doing.
So exactly. I could see Randall tying some games this year. It's his thing.
It's what he does. He's going to tie at least.
He has to build a roster to at least get one tie. Yeah, so now it looks like we're on to me,
On to
which
you.
I had 4 picks in the top 18, and yet I still kind of feel like I didn't do very well.
That's tough to do, Danny. It's tough to fuck up 4 picks in the top
Yeah.
15.
Well, every single mock draft I was doing that had to do with the keepers we had, Christian McCaffrey was going like 10th or 11th overall.
Mm-hmm.
So I wanted him this year. I don't know why.
Hey, go get your guy. I'm not going to fault you that.
But I ended up asking everybody in the draft afterwards, do you think you would have taken him? And I pretty much got no's.
Yeah.
So I should have Odell Beckham Jr., not James, as my first pick, and then Christian McCaffrey second. And then I probably wouldn't have A.J. Green. I'd probably still have gone for Fournette, even though I didn't care for him. I don't know. It's just...
I mean, you can't complain. You do have pretty solid starting lineup up there.
Yeah.
I understand you may have wished it was a little bit better, but take it from the guy who had 2 picks in the first 6 rounds. You're not looking too bad up there.
Thanks, buddy. But
I did find the Antonio Gates pick was interesting.
yeah, I think what it was is it got to the point in the draft where you start to lose your energy, your brain, and I was like, and anytime I'm like, okay, I'm going to take a tight end now, that tight end would go before my pick, and then by that pick I'd have somebody else in a different tier, and it just kept dropping and dropping and dropping with tight end. So I came to a point where I'm like, who am I going to go for? And I was firmly going to go Eric Ebron. And then something told me, you know what? I want to get Gates. I think it was just because I wanted to say Clumpy, which is an inside joke between me and Tommy, so nobody else even got it.
Well,
but I wanted to say it, and I
at least you got
did.
to say it.
And now I'm considering dropping Gates to... I don't know.
I mean, he is signed now. He's
Yeah.
gonna have red zone opportunities there. He's basically just a touchdown machine, though. Like, if he doesn't catch that touchdown, he
might not be on the
worthless.
field.
Yeah. So
We're on the 11th. We're on the 11th. You have to stay on the bench, Antonio.
He can't run. It'd take him 30 seconds to run to the goal line. So,
He won't be in 2-minute drills because he can't get back to the line.
but then you did get Hunter Henry 2 rounds later, setting that injury up for a keeper next year, and
Yeah.
possibly even a player this year because he's not technically on IR.
Yeah, the rumors are he could come back for like week 16, 17. It's like, wait, 16, that's when I'm going to be in the championship game.
Yeah, I'm not buying that. I'm not buying you in
Yeah.
the championship game or Hunter Henry.
Well,
making
why
a
can't we
return
play
this
each other
year.
in the championship game?
Well, I suppose I could beat you in the championship game. We'll see what happens. But
right.
I just historically, you'll find a way to fuck it up.
But yeah, I think I did all right keeper-wise anyways. Like, I thought about it. I'm like, yeah, I should have still gone Ebron anyways. I could have picked up Gates on the waiver wire. And then if Ebron exploded, that'd be fine.
Definitely a better
Or
keeper
Messi.
shot than Gates. But
But I still have Hunter Henry, Taywan Taylor,
yeah, I do like
Geronimo Allison.
Yeah,
Cobb.
Geronimo. We talked about Randall Cobb a minute ago. I think Geronimo is going to be the solid number 2 there in Green Bay. So that's always good to have. All in all, solid job, buddy.
Thanks, buddy.
Moving on to James, the mighty sea cucumbers.
Oh, yeah. Mighty sea cucumbers indeed.
And mighty they are. Of course, there you see he's reunited with OBJ. It's like they never parted.
It's because of me. I gave it to him.
Good job, buddy. Way to give James Odell.
Well, at least I have A.J. Green.
At least there's that.
Well, maybe Barron wants A.J. Green.
Maybe. Who knows? I'm sure Barron's a Bengal homer across the board. This hurts me to say, but I actually really liked James's draft.
Yeah.
Thought he did really well at the top of the draft as far as getting producers for this year.
Well,
and
here is the thing. If you look at this, he had 6 picks in the top 41.
that helps.
Yeah.
And he did a good job with them. I mean, Aaron Rodgers probably went a little bit too early, but we did mention the 2 quarterback option there. But other than that, yeah, great picks all across there. And then I really like his picks for next year too. Like if you go into like the 14th round and on with Dante Pettis, Kalen Ballage, Chris Godwin was a keeper this year, and then Equanimous St. Brown with his last pick of the draft. That could be, that's one of those dart throws that could be the next Juju potentially there.
Yeah.
So
The only thing negative I have to say about it pretty much at all is his running back depth.
yeah.
Lamar Miller is his starting running back. That is his number 1.
And I don't think that's bad for his 6th pick off the board. That's
No,
pretty
I
solid
do
there.
like Lamar Miller this year. I just think that this might be his last productive year.
Yeah, Lamar
And then-
did look good when he was with Deshaun Watson last year, but
And then Tevin Coleman after that.
Yeah, well, and then Deontay Foreman, if I could finish my point about Lamar Miller. Deontay Foreman's on the pup right now, but he also looked good last year in limited action, so we'll see if he pushes for that job when he comes back. You were talking about Tevin Coleman.
I was just moving on. He's the backup there, too.
He does produce on his own, but he's never a guy that I've ever felt good starting when Devonta Freeman is in the lineup. And it's kind of the same thing with Tariq Cohen. He should produce on his own as well, but with Jordan Howard there, his field time is going to be limited.
And then the only other running back on his list is more of a keeper option than Kalen Ballage, because there's Kenyon Drake and Frank Gore this year.
Right, I don't expect Ballage to do much this year unless there's injuries and kind of a late opportunity there. I think that's what James was shooting for.
I do think Ballage will get dropped before he goes off.
I think so for sure, but he's got his rights.
Yep.
If he does pop out.
All right, now we are on to Jeff.
Moving on to Jeff.
There's Juju right there.
And there's Deontay Foreman, who we were just talking about. I did like that pick a lot. That's a guy I was looking at late in the draft, too, as a potential keeper option for next year. So we'll see how he comes back from that Achilles. His top 2 receivers, too. I know you were mentioning that before. That's a great way to start your team.
Well, when it was Jeff's turn to pick, he picked Keenan Allen, and I'm like, dang it. Well, at least maybe Devontae Adams will get to me. And then Ralph took Devontae Adams. I thought I was going to get one of those two at 12, but then I didn't.
Nope, but you could have Michael Thomas. That was a good one.
Well, no, he was a keeper.
Oh, that's right. That was a keeper. My bad.
Sure, I'll take him. Why not? I'll say that I take him. You'll yell at me for saying he's a keeper, you dumbass, and then we'll move on with the draft.
I didn't get to yell that nearly enough in the draft. It was basically only to James.
I think Cody did it a few times. Cody tried to draft Goff once or twice.
Maybe. That makes sense. Another thing I noticed about Jeff's team is that he only has one starting running back on his team right now. And
look at that.
And I don't feel good about Chris Carson keeping that job long term. Or having a running back behind Seattle's offensive line. I don't feel good about that either.
Oh, but here's the thing. He's got Cameron Meredith. That means he wins.
Oh, that's true. That's fair. But the rest of his running backs, I'm looking there, and none of them are going to produce week 1. Maybe Sony Michel, that could be a keeper option for next year if he emerges throughout the season. But week 1, that doesn't work. Marlon Mack's not playing week 1. Jay Ajayi is playing week 1, so that limits Corey Clement's value.
I only dislike Jay Ajayi.
And John Kelly plays behind a guy named Todd Gurley, so he's probably not going to do a lot either.
Who?
So
Jeff
did a good job setting up his receivers, but not loving the rest of the team outside of those receivers.
Yeah, I could see it.
Do you have anything to add?
No, just I don't know much about Marlon Mack. I didn't watch the Colts too much last year because they sucked.
Because they were the Colts.
Yeah, and then I don't pay much attention to college football, so I didn't see anything about Sony Michel. So yeah, I agree with you about his running backs. They have opportunity. Like, don't get me wrong. I could see C.J. Anderson vulturing touchdowns. I could see Deontay Foreman taking that starting role. I could see Sony Michel taking the starting role.
But you got to wait on all of them.
Yeah,
that's the thing.
So by then he'll already be selling his team, right?
Hopefully, I see that happening. He does have good wide receivers, and as has been proven in CFoD, that good wide receivers will get you pretty far.
Especially if you have like Antonio Brown, Julio Jones, and DeAndre Hopkins.
It'd be impossible to fuck that up.
Yeah.
That's a guaranteed championship right there.
Hashtag dark horse.
Moving on to Ralph. Ralph, I think Ralph may have had my favorite draft.
Yeah, he kept taking people that I wanted, hoping they'd go later, and then now I'm just looking at his draft going, you know what? His team is great.
Yeah, I mean, he had a lot of good picks for sure, don't get me wrong. He had 6 picks in the top 60, and then another one at 62 right there behind it. So he had a lot to work with, but I thought he did a great job with all of his picks. Starting with Golden Tate in the 4th, that was the guy who I was really hoping would fall to me with the next pick.
Yep.
He took him, so I got Marvin Jones instead, but that was a great pick. I love the Trey Burton pick where that went.
Yep.
Thought that was great value. And then you get into the second half of his draft, and there are some great upside shots there. Beginning with Darius Geis. I know I let Darius pass me in the 11th round right there. I actually strongly considered taking him as the keeper option, but I went with Phillip Rivers instead, thinking that Geis might make it back to me another round. So that was a great pick. Chase Edmonds, if anything happens to DJ, which it won't, but if it were to happen, Chase Edmonds would be a great pick, and Traquan Smith could be a good keeper option next year too.
Yep.
So.
And then the middle of his draft that you skipped over that I liked is he got Nelson Aguilar followed by Kenny Stills. I like Kenny Stills this year.
Yeah, for sure. Both are going to have opportunities, especially early in the season, with Devontae Parker being banged up and with
Alshon
being out for Aguilar. So, yeah, I thought Ralph did a great job setting himself up strong for the season.
I can't wait till he starts aborting the season, though.
It's going to take longer than this year. He's going to take a lot to go wrong for Ralph before he starts aborting.
And now we get to the two people who didn't have first-round picks.
Starting with Cody McDougal. Cody didn't have a first-round pick, but I think he did okay just because of his keepers.
His keepers were pretty good. Yeah.
By far the best keeper combination in the league with Alvin Kamara and
Adam
Thielen there. So I mean that's going to make his team competitive right off the bat. Just those two. I also like the Nick Chubb pick a lot in round 14. I think that's a good keeper option for next year, and maybe even Baker Mayfield 16. That could be an option.
I'm really
next year.
sad that he got Austin Eckler. I wanted Austin Eckler.
Austin Eckler, I think, is a good player, but I don't see him having keeper value as long as he's behind.
No, that's what I mean. Is I wanted him to make it to waivers and then take him.
Yeah, and then I'll say outside of those keepers, even though I'm not finding players that I specifically hate amongst his group, but I will say I don't really love his team after that.
Yeah, well, here's what I said: is his first 4 picks: T.Y. Hilton, Michael Crabtree, Deion Lewis, Greg Olsen.
Yeah, I don't love the Crabtree pick.
Don't like any of them actually. I mean, I like Hilton; he's a good player.
I like the T.Y. Hilton pick. I like the Deion Lewis pick. But I don't. I strongly dislike the Michael Crabtree pick. But I'm also a John Brown guy. So
yeah,
I might be a little biased there.
I agree.
But again, as long as Cody has those top 2 players, that's going to keep him in the run every week. And then it's a long season. We'll see what else he can do. And I could be wrong about Michael Crabtree. He might not be mediocre.
And I could be wrong about Greg Olsen. He could not be old and have foot injuries.
So there you have it.
All right. Well, that's everybody, right?
Well, we have to talk about me.
Oh, okay. Fine.
And me and my brave triumph over adversity throughout this draft. I was dealt a rough hand.
You gave yourself.
People told me that I couldn't do it, and gosh darn it, I did it. I went out there and I assembled a team that's projected to win 2 times this season.
2 times.
That's right. They said I wasn't going to win any games. I'm projected to win at least 2, and I'm going to one up you there. I'm going to go from there. I'm going to make my first bold prediction.
Wait, we're not talking
bold predictions. I'm making one. I'm going to win at least twice my projected wins. That's right. No fewer than 4 wins this season. Guaranteed. Book it. The B team.
I didn't even get to play the bumper for bold predictions yet.
Well, that's okay. I just gave you a free preview there. Final season. Rules are out the window.
All right, so
go ahead. Talk to me about my team.
We didn't write down any notes, so we're done?
No, you're going to talk to me about
my
team.
All right, so
Look,
your team. Right up here. You took a lot of tight ends.
I did. I took more tight ends than I planned on.
It's funny because in our dynasty draft, it was one person had left to pick before me, and I was like, I'm going to take O.J. Howard with my next pick. I just picked Delaney Walker, but now I'm going to pick O.J. Howard. Boom. The guy in front of me takes O.J. Howard. I'm like, dang it. I guess I'll settle for Njoku.
Mm-hmm.
And now, as the preseason's gone on, Njoku looks like he's going to do great. I love Njoku, and O.J. Howard I don't care about anymore. But you got them both.
I got Njoku several rounds ahead of O.J. Howard, too.
Yeah.
And that's kind of what it was. I mean, I didn't love O.J. Howard as a player. I've already dropped him, actually, from there. But I do like his opportunity.
You already dropped Ricky Seals-Jones, too.
I did. And I do like both of those guys. But I guess I like more of their opportunity as potential breakouts this season than I do starting initially. And you can see there my running back depth was atrocious.
Yeah.
I drafted 3 running backs, and one of them is suspended for 2 weeks.
Well, what I'm seeing here is, like, you didn't... The end of your draft doesn't look very keeper heavy. Like you have your last 4 picks are a kicker, a defense, and then 2 quarterbacks, which this league has actually figured out that keeping a quarterback isn't necessary.
If Jameis comes back from his suspension and plays to the level that and has the kind of season that I kind of thought he was going to have before the suspension happened, I could see him in the 15th being a solid keeper.
Okay.
That was kind of my thought there.
But then where else? Like Tyrell Williams is a decent player, but I don't see him being a breakout type of player. Aaron Jones, he could be the starting running back of the Packers, so that could be fine.
Tyrell Williams is an impending free agent, very underrated, and he's also still the number 2 on that depth chart ahead of Mike Williams. So I think Tyrell Williams is extremely.
I'm rooting for him. I have him in Dynasty,
and so I think there's an opportunity there for him to potentially be a keeper.
And now we do have to. I'm sorry to cut you off, but we do have to talk about one thing.
What's that?
Your cheetah, your burrito.
My burrito. Yeah, he went in the 8th round, I believe. That's where I took Mr. Burrito, which is also the same round I drafted him in the round before. Reports out of camp, Burrito's getting the first team reps for week 1 anyway. I do think it'll be more of a split with him and Alf as the season progresses.
Yeah.
But I like it's full PPR. I'll take the guy who's going to catch the passes.
And Breed is younger, so if anyone's going to slow down towards the end, it'll be Alfred Morris over Breida.
There are questions about Breida's durability with his size only being 190 pounds. So that's the number one thing that I hear about that. So please, David Johnson, just don't break your wrist.
And then the only other thing I can really say is your wide receivers are definitely question marks, but I still feel good about them. Marvin Jones, he'll do the boomer bust thing. Josh Gordon could be a wide receiver 1 every week. Corey Davis, we need to hope that
I think Corey Davis has that top level potential.
He does.
As well.
He does.
Gets a lot of targets, but Mariota's throwing the ball.
Yeah, and then you get into the second tier of the possibility. And Keelan Cole, as long as Bortles can throw him the ball.
Keelan Cole won people championships last year.
Yeah, but that was last year.
And it was with Bortles as his quarterback.
I know.
So,
but let me think about that's like what was that? Ogletree. That's the comparison where Ogletree could win you a couple of games and then he didn't do shit the rest of the year.
It was a 4-week stretch where Keelan Cole was a wide receiver 1 last season. Again, he won people championships.
And Michael Gallup. Well, how about Michael Gallup? He hasn't done shit in the NFL.
No, he has not. But.
But
like he's competing with Alan Hearns essentially for targets. I'm not buying Cole Beasley. I'm not buying Terrence Williams. So I think Gallup could step up there. And mention I'm a John Brown guy.
Yep. Trying to get that out, but you beat me to it. Sorry. So that does it for roster breakdowns. We got through that really quick. It was only an hour and a half.
Oh, that's not bad at all. I was planning on really driving home. This is the final time that we're going to break down a draft.
All right. Well, now can I play my first bumper that I made for our first new segment?
Sure, bump that shit.
Oh, the buttons don't work. I just have to click it.
God damn it.
CFoD, bold predictions, bound to go right?
That's right. Shitty new bumper. Actually, I'm still making the bumper, so
I'm sure it was shitty, Danny.
When this episode comes out, you will either have a nice new bumper that I made or a template saying a bumper to coming soon because I haven't had a chance to really make stuff yet.
Either way, I'm sure it'll suck.
Thanks, buddy. Speaking of sucking, my first bold prediction of the season is this.
Oh shit. Getting right up in there.
Baron, you're not going to like this.
Oh.
My first bold prediction is we are going to have the first ever, and we had Anthony in the league, the first ever back-to-back clusterfucker.
Damn! You just got called out, Baron. Back-to-back clusterfucker?
Yep. That's...
Not even Anthony did that, really.
Yeah, no, I don't think so. Anyways.
History could be made, Baron.
You can do it, Baron. I believe in you.
You know, that's a hot take. What's your evidence behind that? Why do you think Baron's going to finish?
Oh, we have to have evidence? I thought we were just making bold takes to make bold takes.
Well, I figured you'd have some sort of
argument
behind it.
Well, you see, he's the clusterfucker.
So that means he sucked last
year.
year.
And if you sucked last year, what's most likely to happen?
Well, he does have Jordy Nelson on his team.
And Pierre Garçon.
Well, now. It's not amazing on Pierre.
Sorry. He has Saquon Barkley.
You think so? I mean, we just talked about Randall. You think Barron's gonna be worse than Randall, or do you think this is gonna be strictly a bitch bracket type thing where Randall's gonna shine in the bitch bracket?
Yeah, that's it.
Barron will finish like 8th or 9th during the regular season.
Well,
and
just I've got a crystal ball app, and the crystal ball app told me that half of Barron's team's going to get injured.
That's a very specific prediction from that app. I'm going to have to check that out.
It's a good app.
I'll consider that. However, I don't need an app for my bold prediction, and it's also an historic prediction because this has never happened in CFoD history before either.
Whoa.
But I'm predicting he went for a 3-peat last year and he fell short. I'm predicting that he falls short once again, but not of the championship, of the playoffs. That's right.
No.
I'm predicting Jeff
No.
Simpson, perennial playoff contender and championship contender, will miss the playoffs. That's right. Jeff Simpson in the bitch bracket this season. That's right, I'm calling it. And we just talked about this. Jeff enters the season with one starting running back, and his name is Chris Carson. He's got to run behind Seattle's offensive line. You feel good about that? I don't feel good about that. That's right, Jeff. Sure, you may have some good wide receivers that are going to kind of tide things over, but that's not enough to make it in this league.
But-
this is the league of leagues, my friend.
But
You don't have
Tommy-
what it takes. Jeff Simpson, bitch bracket. Book it.
But Tommy,
Yeah?
he's never missed the playoffs.
I know. That's
we
why it's a
just
bold
talked
prediction.
about that.
It's a hot take. This is going to be historic.
My prediction: he sucked last year. He's going to suck this year. He made the playoffs last year. He's going to make the playoffs this year.
No, I'm throwing curveballs. It's bold.
Wow. Okay, that does it for our first segment ever of bold predictions. Sure to go right.
No, you're damn right it's going right. You suck, Jeff.
You suck, Baron. I like Baron though.
Well, Baron's cool,
Yeah.
but not Jeff.
All right. Well, now we are to our next segment. You ready to see it, Tommy?
What is it?
The buttons don't work.
Hear ye, hear ye. It is time for tips from the clusterfucker.
Start a kicker.
That was this week's tips from the clusterfucker. This is the
CFoD.
weekly breakdown.
That's right. We got to move this show along. So we're already to week 1 breakdowns. That's
Oh,
right.
shit,
we
that's
already
right, 'cause
told you.
Yeah, we got to wrap this up because I'm definitely not working over because I don't get paid for extra. So
So it is
7 minutes.
It is 7 minutes.
7 minutes to do the breakdowns.
Oh,
So-
okay. Okay, so it is September 5th. We need to get through these quickly so that I can edit this show and we can get it out tomorrow. What better to do than to edit the show than to add more bumpers? Okay, so from now on, I'm going to try and get player profiles into this segment, but
No, don't worry about me. Do your thing. I mean,
you don't even have a watch.
yeah, but I'm just trying to make sure passively aggressively make sure that you know that I'm running out of time.
Because this isn't killing time either.
Yeah. Whose fault is that?
Going to get into player profiles, and we're going to start off with the only people who we have available in this room to make cool videos to. That's right, game number 1, Danny and Tommy. Click.
Wow, that was really cool. I really like the part where I was in it.
I was in it too.
Well, yeah, that was whatever, but like that was cool. I think that's gonna be fun.
Yeah, your stats were a little more impressive than mine.
Yeah, I'm awesome. I have been for some time.
All right.
And
Well,
I'm
anyways,
continue
I'm
to
gonna
be awesome.
I'm gonna snap, and our players are gonna be on the board.
Oh, that was cool.
There they are.
Just like you said. So it looks. I look up there and I see that you have some good players, and I see that there are higher numbers next to your players than there are mine. But I'm gonna choose to ignore that and predict myself to win.
Okay. Well, I choose the opposite. I choose me to win, since I'm gonna win.
Contention.
Contention.
That was our final first contention of the year.
Hashtag final first
Hashtag
contention.
farewell season.
Hashtag breakdowns.
Anyway, so there we go. Normally we'd get into this a little bit more, but we already talked about teams, and again, we got 4.5 minutes left.
4.5 minutes
Yeah,
on.
so-
Okay, on to game number 2. And there we have it. Game number 2.
There wasn't any cool, what was the cool gift thing for that?
Well, I already told you, we were the only people in this room who can do player breakdowns because we can record video. These two didn't stay after the draft to help me with video.
assholes.
I know.
Anyway,
But, anyways, there we go.
Oh,
We got
yeah,
matchup
that's cool.
right up there.
yeah, so, yeah, there's Sony Michelle. It's Devontae Parker projected 1 point. I like it. I like the balls. I like the gusto, the gumption. So I'm picking Allen because he's
Yeah.
not afraid to take risks.
Allen's running backs, all 3 of them, are projected, what is that, 45 5 points.
That's a lot more points than Chris Carson.
Than Jeff's 20 points projected between his two running backs.
Yeah.
All right, so we're picking Allen?
I'm picking Allen. Consensus.
Consensus.
Our final first consensus of the season.
Oh.
Hashtag farewell season. Next game. We're running out of time.
All right, game number 3. Sorry, Tommy. Still no cool GIF, but we will work on that.
That's okay. Let's get to. Can I do the snap finger thingy? The boom.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, that was cool. Well, I've got the power.
It's okay.
Now.
Got it.
I know about
Yep.
that.
Mm-hmm.
So, wow. So Randall certainly has more players in his starting lineup than
Yeah.
Ashley does right now.
Ashley's really good at waiting until 2 minutes before kickoff of the NFL season to start her lineup.
So she doesn't have players we can actually break down here. But we do know that Randall's team is awful. So I'm going to pick Ashley.
Yeah, Ashley wins.
Consensus.
Yeah.
All right.
All right. That was game number 3, which means numerically... Wait, is it
We're fucking time, Danny. Go see game 5.
5?
Yeah, 5. Wait, no.
That's right. Game number 5.
Just
Wait,
did we miss?
I think we missed one.
We didn't do 4, did we? I said we'll do that next. 5 versus 4.
Okay.
James's mighty sea cucumbers versus turn your head and Goff. I don't really feel like breaking this down.
This is sadly...
I'll pick Cody.
I'm going to pick James because he's a cucumber.
All right, fine. Good.
Boom.
Next one. 4. Back to 4.
Game number 4. All right, game number 4 between the guy who is going to be the clusterfucker again versus the guy who was the clusterfucker 2 years ago.
Former clusterfuckers going at it.
And somebody who likes to abort the season sooner than anybody in the league.
Indeed, but we're still early on in the season, so Ralph has not aborted yet. Ralph's got a solid lineup. I'm picking Ralph to win.
I also think... No, I'm going to pick Barron. I think Barron's going to win a lot of games this year. Contention.
Oh, all right, contention. Next, big game of the week.
Oh, that's right. I have a special bumper for that.
Ooh.
And I actually may have player profiles for both of these guys if they submit their player profiles in time.
Spoiler.
If you're watching this and you haven't submitted it, it's not early enough.
Oh.
Oh, shit.
Yeah. I don't remember how I got into it, to be honest. I used to play with my dad, but I've been playing basically since middle school. I'm in 31 now, so quite some time. Kicking ass. In all seriousness, I enjoy kicking ass. It's a lot of fun to win. I used to win a lot more than I have recently. Yeah, it's fun to compete. It's fun to feel like you're winning in your gamble, or it's fun to take calculated risks and feel as if you're doing a good job. I need to get back into that win column. Probably Tommy. I think it was Tommy, and I think he just asked, and I said sure. Probably very unremarkable, but that's the true story. There was a year where I traded, and it got Andre Johnson from Tommy, and he's pretty bitter about it. I'm still confident he remembers this, because that was a season in which I ended up smoking it. Andre Johnson, maybe it was, I can't remember who I gave him for Andre Johnson, but Andre Johnson ended up being like this badass player that year, and I felt kind of bad about it because the person I traded him ended up being a turd. When I was managing Ghost Poops, which was a fantastic name in 2014, I posted something saying, anybody want LaShawn McCoy? I think it's because I hated LaShawn McCoy. I still kind of hate LaShawn McCoy, and I'm bummed he's still playing. I'm glad he's on Josh's team. It was a tie between Rob Gronkowski and Deshaun Watson. Reason being is that I really wanted Gronk and I really wanted Deshaun. I thought I was going to miss out on Gronk, but I felt more confident taking him, knowing that I had Melvin Gordon in the 5th round, so I had my running back all taken, and I took Julio Jones in the 1st, meaning that I had wide receiver and running back already locked up. So going for Gronk you know, knowing his injury risk, I normally wouldn't have felt confident taking him in the second, but I still wanted him. I really love the guy, and I think he's got the potential to, win you a league. So I'm grateful I got him. And I also think the same about Deshaun Watson, assuming he stays healthy. I mean, he's a badass. Yeah, I'm actually really disappointed that I took Giovanni Bernard in the 14th instead of Jerick McKinnon. I was looking at Jerick McKinnon and I was like, oh, maybe people will forget about him. And the very next pick he went, not because obviously he's not playing this year, but for keeper status, getting him in the 14th round is pretty solid. And I was thinking about it. I was looking at it and I was like, oh, I'm going to choose Giovanni Bernard right now, even though I don't need him. My statement is trade me wide receivers. I have, I think, four. I like all four of them, but I have no backup wide receivers. So if anybody gets injured or has a bye week, I am screwed. I have a handful of good running backs. I got Marshawn Lynch, Royce Freeman. Hopefully Rashad Penny doesn't suck. And, that guy I just said I didn't like, Giovanni Bernard. I'll give him to you for cheap. Yeah. Maybe one of those would be interesting to you. Josh, it feels really good knowing you're last year's champion, and I'm favored to beat you by 30 points.
I want to say I got into fantasy football in 2007. I remember I lived in an apartment in Reno. Yeah, I had Randy Moss on my team. That's the year he scored 22 touchdowns, so I got really lucky. That year I did win my first championship in just the random league I was in.
Fantasy football, it's just fun. From when we sit down together and draft our teams to setting that lineup for that first Thursday night, Sunday kickoff week. Yeah, I mean, it's a good escape from reality. We work, we have our jobs, our lives, so, it's just a fun thing to do, especially as an adult. I know it's one of the things, last Sunday at the draft, I look forward to that every year. That's like Christmas Day. It's better than Christmas Day, but I don't really remember how I got into CFoD. That might be a question Tommy knows. I imagine he asked me if I'd be interested in joining, and I said yeah. Usually I do 3 leagues. This year I got suckered into 5, but no matter how much money I got in another one, or this is always my main league. This is the one I pay attention to the most, and not many other fantasy football leagues have their own awesome show. So, favorite fantasy player, I'd probably say a couple last year. Cam, if I didn't have him, I'd probably been on losing. He just won me weeks. I don't think without that trade for DeAndre Hopkins with you, I win Gillespie Bowl 3. Probably those 2 guys last year, yeah. I got the Holy Grail, so hands down, they're probably my favorite fantasy players I've ever had in my team. Worst fantasy player? It's easy. 2015, I drafted Eddie Lacy. The dude was a stud up to that year. That really killed me with that first overall pick. I have lots of picks I like this year, but yeah, probably Joe Mixon. I like that a lot. I want to see what he can do. And DJ Moore, I'm really curious what the rookie can do too. Worst pick? I'm not really keen on LeGarrette Blount, but because I really think Kerryon Johnson's going to take a stranglehold on that position. I was aiming for James Conner just to have that handcuff for Le'Veon, but Randall beat me to it, so that's maybe my regret pick I wasn't able to get. But yeah, I'm not LeGarrette Blount. Yeah, I wasn't too happy, but there's an upside, and if he fizzles that and Kerryon goes on strong like I think he will, he'll be an easy drop, and hopefully I can pick up someone better. just hope we have a good competitive year this year. At the draft, everyone drafted really strong teams, even those guys that didn't draft in the first round. Their teams are stacked still. I want to say this is probably, just based on what teams look like, this is going to be one of the most competitive years in this league that I can recall. I'm glad we made the rule changes about the playoff teams choosing their draft pick. I really hope not so many people are selling so quick this year. It'd be nice to see towards the end of the season, like win and get in and losing you're out situations for playoffs. Last year we pretty much knew who was going to playoffs fairly early, but just not seeding. But Justin, take it easy on me this week. I don't got my number 1 overall pick. Hopefully he'll be back next week or the week after, sometime this season, hopefully. But I like the lineup I got out there, but hey, you have a juggernaut, so it's going to be a test, see what my team's made of. Good luck to you, sir. Congratulations on the wedding. And, let's have a good year. And everybody, go CFoD yourself. Thank you.
That's right. Player profiles, I think. Post-editing will figure that out. But anyways.
Looked great.
Thanks, buddy. I thought it did too, even though I haven't made it yet. That's right. Big game of the week between Justin and Josh.
2 former rivals.
Former rivals of me. And, so we've got last year's champ versus this year's projected champ. And as you could tell from those possible player profiles, they do not like each other.
No, they do not. We actually had to separate them as rivals because they disliked each other so strongly. Or they didn't dislike each other enough. I don't know. The point is they're not rivals anymore, but they still don't like each other.
That's right. But anyways, as you can see here, Justin's still got his stacked team, and
Indeed.
Josh has his slightly less stacked team.
Yeah, I'm seeing a little bit of a Gillespie Bowl hangover here for Josh. He after climbing the mountain last year, it's a grueling process. Believe me, I've been there. And it's not easy. It's not easy to get to the top. And I think there's going to be a little bit of a letdown from Josh this year, especially with no Le'Veon Bell in his starting lineup. I'm picking Justin to win this one, and big.
Yep, it's kind of hard to argue against
Ass kicking.
Really,
slaughter. It's going to be a murder. I'm sorry, do you have something to say, Danny?
No.
Destruction! I think I'm done now. I think that's all I've got.
And that's this week's Weekly
You didn't
Breakdowns.
pick anyone.
Contention.
Contention? You're picking Josh?
Those were the Weekly Breakdowns.
And there we have it. Our first farewell episode.
Our final first episode.
Our first episode of the final season of the CFoD
Our
show.
final season premiere.
I think that means that the special word of this week has to be #series finale.
I thought it was #farewell season.
Well, that's for the entire season, but today's word...
#goodbye.
All right, #goodbye. I like it.
All right.
So email at CFoD_show, I believe.
Can you put that in writing down here?
Yeah, I'm gonna, but I need to know what it is so I can say it. No, it's just all one word. CFoDshow@gmail.com.
Wow, it's gonna suck
Email with the subject title sweepstakes, and the body of the email has to say #goodbye, and then you will be entered
to win a brand new car
No.
that Danny's buying.
It's not a car. It's going to be cool, but it's not going to be a car.
Helicopter.
All right, guys. Thank you for watching our
jet ski.
our first week episode. I hope I get this episode out before football
Final
kicks
farewell.
off.
It's a pony, isn't it?
It's not a pony.
It's a private jet.
I like the fact that you're probably going to keep guessing even after you leave.
It's a cheetah.
Guys, go CFoD yourselves.
Go CFoD yourselves. Tickets to a cruise, isn't it?